Hey up everybody, welcome to Saturday morning, and that can mean only one thing. It's parkrun day for all you people that don't have a wedding to go to. Me, I'm going to do a 5k here at home, and I'm going to use a 5k Strava segment that I mapped it out back in COVID days for people to use as a parkrun replacement. So you'll recognise where I am. The parkrun actually starts from that corner next to that signpost that says Tulloch and Pantador. So I've got my head camera ready, I finished my warm up, let's go have some fun. So good satellite signal, the chorus armband's connected, let's do it. Morning. And off we go, and looking at that pace, off we go way too fast. For those of you that don't know, Llanidloes is the first town on the River Severn, and rivers sit in the bottom of valleys, and we're heading out of Llanidloes, so that means we're going uphill, and 3:30 pace for me isn't sustainable. So guess who's going to be slowing down very, very quickly. And there we go. Now we're just backing off. We're going to get ourselves into a reasonable pace, something that's sustainable, something that on this incline is not going to completely shred the legs and empty the tank, because it's quite a climb we're going to do. Heading out of town now, it doesn't look that bad on camera, and the slope indicator in the top right hand corner of the screen, that's actually telling fibs. It's out of sync. And also it doesn't give a real true indication of just how steep the ground is that we're running on. But it's close enough, so I've left it there. For all the regular viewers of the channel, you'll realise that this isn't my normal route. I normally run the complete other way. And the reason being, for years and years and years, I did all my runs heading out this way to go up the hill as the start of the run, so that I could have the fast run on the way back. So at the moment, you might think that I'm doing the same old ground over and over, but I've actually swapped it over from my old run that I used to do. So here's where the ground starts going uphill, a little bit steeper. It's only showing 2%, but I can guarantee you it's more than that. This is a good incline. This is having to lean into it from my ankles, and I'm trying my best not to lose too much pace here. I'm still trying to put the work in. As you can see by my heart rate, we're already into sub-threshold, and we're not even a kilometre in. Okay, so here's approaching the first kilometre.
4:08.
That's not bad to say I'm going uphill. So that's the first rise done. That's the hardest part of going out this way. Now we just get some undulations. We've got a nice freewheel downhill now to try and get his breath back. Nice flat section before we come to his next gentle rise. We have a bit of something fairly flattish now and runnable. This is actually the old road that used to be in and out of Llanidloes. Before I moved here just over 30 years ago, they built a bypass. As soon as the bypass was built, then obviously this became a nice quiet road, and it's a really popular place for people walking or running or bike riding. It's really traffic free, and I've done so many miles over the years running up and down here. So even though this road hasn't been a main road for many years, you can still see the old white lines that are still painted in the middle. And coming up now on the right hand side, I'll freeze it when we get right next to it. That sign is showing a double bend, and it's that old that the actual double bend black zigzag mark inside the red triangle is actually faded away. And as you can see on the camera now, we've got yet another little sharp kicker to get up now. So we'll put some work into this, and then it's a nice long freewheel back down the other side. Hiya Pete. Now there's a small world. That was Mrs. Ayup's uncle then. We're going downhill now, but you can see the delay on the data. The slope is still saying we're going uphill, it's 5%. The speed hasn't increased. It's only just now catching up as if we're going over the brow of the hill, which is probably 100 metres behind us now. Just approaching another little bridge, and we're still sub-threshold, but spoiler alert, that is going to change, because on the way back we've got all that uphill to do again, and my heart rate's going to go up and beyond any kind of threshold then. But just for now, I'm enjoying it. I'm at the moment, it's still a training run, but I am going to be letting the brakes off soon. 4:05. I'm working on the metric system of kilometres. The reason being, it's easier for me to work out when I'm doing my 5Ks. The first kilometre was done 9 seconds over 4 minutes. The second kilometre was done 6 seconds over 4 minutes. And that means I'm 15 seconds in total over a 20-minute 5K pace. Here's a turnaround point. Mentally now, I've done the hard work. I know that on the run back, I've got a little bit of a rise to do, but it's not that much of one, and then I've got that really, really long downhill back into Llanidloes. So now I'm going to start increasing my work now. I'm going to start putting some extra effort in, and as soon as we get across this bridge now and get onto the uphill slope, you'll see that heart rate go from 163 upwards and over my threshold. There's the start of the slope now. And there we are, exactly as predicted, we're up to 164. And that's that bit of a slope done. Now we've just got a few undulations before that great big long downhill. I must have run thousands of times over this piece of ground. I've used this for years and years and years for my training. We're approaching the 3 kilometre marker, and I'm already thinking in my head that I'm 15 seconds above a 20-minute time. So let's see what this one gives.
4:02.
There we are. So the 15 seconds that I was over, plus the 2 seconds on that kilometre means I'm 17 seconds over a 20-minute time. Let's see if I can drag that back now. I have got the downhill coming, so I know that I'll be able to run a little bit quicker. Just around this right hand corner now, it's a really, really steep little kicker. Here we go then, top of the hill. Time to let the brakes off, time to lean into it. Let's see if we can drag them 17 seconds back and claim a sub 20-minute time. Look at that heart rate now, 165 beats a minute. This is where we're going to try as best to make them 17 seconds up. We're going to be really pushing hard now down this hill. We're going to try and gain as much ground as we can. We're going to run straight by Mrs. Ayup's uncle again now. And look at that, the pace is right down to 3:30 a kilometre. So that's the steep part done. It looks pretty level on the camera now, but it's not. We still have an ever so gradual downhill here. So I'm going to be really leaning into this. I really want to see if I can get them 17 seconds back now. This left-hand junction now, that leads down to the sports centre and to Llanidloes High School. And the ground that I'm running on now is pretty much flat now. We have got the tiniest of downhill inclines now. So you are going to see that pace now. It's going to slow ever so slightly, but I'm still leaning into it. I'm absolutely giving it everything I've got now. There's a sneaky look at the watch. I know that I've got less than 100 metres to go before the next kilometre split. This is where it's really starting to hurt, and I'm having to dig in now because I really want to try and claw back some of those 17 seconds to give myself a chance of a sub 20 on this 5k.
350. I've put some work in now. Sub 20's on.
I love that pause then. I read out the 350 on my watch, and that meant that I had a whole 10 to subtract from 17 to give me 7 seconds above the 20-minute time that I'm trying to run. But while I'm going absolutely flat out, my head just can't do simple maths like that. But while we're on the subject of simple maths, I'm 7 seconds over the 20-minute time. I'm on for a 20:07. So if I can run a 3 minutes and 52 second kilometre now for this last one, that means I'm going to be underneath that magic 20-minute barrier. And looking at the pace I'm running there now, I'm sub 340. It's looking like it's a done deal. All the regulars of the channel will recognise this piece now as exactly where I start each and every one of my easy runs. Look at that pace, it's really slowed down now, 3:56 a kilometre. Anytime now I'm going to quickly look at the watch, see that I've backed off the pace, and that's just going to give me a nudge to start to concentrate, keep the work on, keep the intensity on. Look at that, I've accelerated back under the 3:40 a kilometre. After a quick dash through the car park, we're heading now to a sharp 90-degree left-hand turn that's going to take us onto Shortbridge Street. And before we get there, can anybody guess why it's called Shortbridge Street?
$300 metres.
So if you hadn't worked it out, we're going to be running over a very short bridge that goes across the River Severn, turning left, and this is the finish straight. So I'm going to sit back now, let's watch the finish.
I can see the finish. Anytime now. There we go. 3:44. Let's finish that.
Well, that's today's fun and games all finished. Llani Park Run finished and done. And what fun I had going back over that old course. My watch said 19 minutes and 53 or 54 seconds. Couldn't quite see exactly what it was when the 5k beeped. But yeah, what an absolute blast that was. I'm going to put the Strava leaderboard on the screen as well as all the data, because it's going to be fun to see if I've made the top 10 on there, because the last time I looked there were some pretty fast boys and girls on there. But that's today's fun and games all done. I've got to get myself home, cleaned up and ready, and off to a wedding and a nice day spending some time with family. Before I go, I will show you the shoes, and today's shoes were a bit special because today I wore the Nike original Alphafly in the mango colourway, and obviously I matched them off with some amazing monkey socks. And it's great to have these back on my feet after having the Leanings, the Podium 6 Elites. After finding out they're a really good race shoe, that means that I can take these out the box and start to use them again and not have to save them for best. So, time for me to go. Until tomorrow's long run, I'll see thee.